I'm 32, juggling family, working full-time, and earning a bachelor's degree. At University of Phoenix, I earn career-relevant skills with every 5-week course. Skills I can use now, not just after graduation.
Earn skills in weeks, not years. Visit phoenix.edu.
This episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Powerful yet smooth. Contained but never tame. Proudly going their own way, but never going alone. This is the spirit inside Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Made at Buffalo Trace Distillery, the world's most award-winning distillery. Buffalo Trace is always perfectly untamed. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Franklin County, Kentucky. 90 proof, 45% alcohol by volume. Learn more at buffalotracedistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
You can't be scared to lose. Are we going to learn some things? Are we going to have a growth mindset? Look, last year we went to Bishop Gorman, beat us by 20-something. Man, we learned a lot about ourselves, and it helped us to come back and to win some big games later on in the season and to go to the Division I semifinal.
Welcome to the Coaching Coordinator Network National Coach of the Week, presented by Modern Football Technology. Modern football technology gives coaches a powerful edge on game day, turning data into real-time insights that help you adjust, adapt, and win. Trusted by some of the nation's top programs, Modern Football Technology makes in-game analytics accessible and actionable at every level. This week, we honor Coach Rod Sherman of Orange Lutheran High School in California. His team traveled across the country to Miami and defeated nationally ranked Northwestern in a hard-fought 17-15 victory. For leading his team to this statement win, Coach Sherman is our National Coach of the Week.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
We're back for our first week of the National Coach of the Week, presented by Modern Football Technology. And our National Coach of the Week this week is Rod Sherman from Orange Lutheran. Orange Lutheran went on the road all the way across the country from California to Florida to take on Northwestern in Miami. So a long trip to play the number 11 team in the nation, and they prevailed 17-15 in a very, very close-fought game. So, Coach, we're excited to have you here, and congratulations on being honored as our National Coach of the Week.
Thank you so much on behalf of our staff, most importantly, our players. We've got the best kids in the world here, and just am so grateful and want to say thank you for this honor.
Coach, you've had a big career so far. You've been at some places that have had a lot of success, including Orange Lutheran, spent time at Valor Christian, and I think really made a name for yourself there. But would love to fill in our listeners a little bit about your background and what brought you to the point where you are right now at Orange Lutheran.
Yeah, I probably have a unique story in that I never played football. I've never played a down of football in my life. I'm not that smart, so I guess I've been real lucky. But I went to college. I played basketball here at Orange Lutheran. Both my wife and I are alums of OLU here, and went to a local Concordia University and a great experience there. Started coaching basketball as a freshman, and the head coach at the time of football, his name's Jim Kuna, unbelievable coach and won many championships, asked me at the end of my freshman year of college if I wanted to coach football. I said, Coach, I never played football. He goes, well, you don't have any bad habits to break. If you want to learn, we'd be happy to have you. So I remember he gave me the first playbook, and it talked about gap identifications and 6-eye or 7-9. And it was like crazy. I couldn't understand any of it. And I just feel like God gave me a passion. And at some point, my passion for coaching football overtook my passion for basketball. I'd been a head track coach for a little bit. And I just love what football can do in the hearts and lives of young men specifically. So I went into athletic administration, was the athletic director here at Orange Lutheran, and then had the privilege to start a school in Colorado called Valor Christian, as you said. And we had a vision to be excellent, and God blessed us with some incredible players and great resources, and loved my time there. And then had the opportunity, and I really think God used it in my life, to go to a public school that was right down the street from Valor called Arapahoe High School. And it gave me a new perspective because I hadn't ever been in a public school. I started as a security guard there when my time at Valor had ended, and I loved it. And I loved my time in the public school. I also got to see a lot of what public school coaches do that are just a little bit different than my job is here. When I was the head strength coach, ran the offense, ran special teams, ran the booster club, ran social media. So it gave me such an appreciation for different types of head coaches in this country, and then wonderful kids there, and had the opportunity to come out here to Orange Lutheran. And my wife and my family, I have 4 children. We moved back here, and we're loving life being back at the school that we went to and graduated from. And I've had 2 kids now graduate from Orange Lutheran. So it's pretty cool to have your kids graduate to the high school or graduate from the same high school that mom and dad did. And I've got a junior son on my team now, and I've got an 8th grade daughter that'll be here next fall.
We're going to talk about a little bit how this really is a family affair for you in your coaching journey, and we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about your game this past weekend against Northwestern in Miami. So you guys travel across the country, distinctly different from hopping on a bus and going to the next town. A lot of logistics there, a lot at play. You told me, it really helped you understand what odds makers think about, and home field advantage, becomes very difficult for that. But we'd love to just hear about the experience of traveling across the country to play a high school football game.
Yeah, it was. We traveled some. We went 2 years ago, played De La Salle last year. I went to play Bishop Gorman. They had all been bus trips. When I was at Valor, we traveled a little bit. And we just think traveling, the experience of it, helps create memories. Every year we travel for our team retreat. Last summer in 2024, we went up on a 3 or 4 day rafting trip just to be guys, to have fun, to be in the wilderness. Sometimes not all kids have been camping before. So just that opportunity to sleep in a tent, hang out together, bond, and that brotherhood. So when this came up to go to Miami, we were like, if God's given us a platform to go play on a national stage, let's take it. So our parents did a great job fundraising, and it was a full trip. So we left early on Thursday morning and got there. By the time we had left the school, by the time we got to the hotel, it was 11 o'clock Thursday night with the time change. Friday morning, we took a couple teachers with us. So Friday morning, we split up academic time along with our film and prep time, and then had the ability to go practice at the University of Miami. So drove down there and show the kids that level of football facilities, rented their indoor facility, and then did some things together as a team. And Saturday was a full day of game prep and trying to find a balance of creating memories, game prep, being ready to go Saturday night. So we were very fortunate. Miami Northwestern is an outstanding team. I think their coaches did a tremendous job. They had an interim coach with Coach Bridgewater stepping back into the NFL. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for the job they did. They were incredibly athletic, and we played well enough to get a win. But it's a full trip. And then, we get back to the hotel at 11:30, order pizza, get done in the meeting room at 12:30, and families came and joined us. We like to be a family affair in our program. And we were in the lobby at 4:30 a.m. to get to the airport on Sunday. So it's a full experience, but such a blessing for us to do that. And I pray it creates lifelong memories for the young men.
I'm sure it did. And you play in the Trinity League, so it's not like you have to go far to play some of the top teams in the country. You are an incredibly competitive league, the Trinity League. And what we're going to talk today, though, is about leadership and kind of getting on the personal side of things. You said something before we got going that you can't lead from an empty cup. And I think this applies not just to a head coach. I think this applies to every single one of us, because we do have to lead, and we have to think about the balance we put in our life to be able to be the most effective we can as football coaches. So we'd love for you to dig into what that means. As you said, you can't lead from an empty cup.
Yeah, I'm often embarrassed when I think at times about how I've led, interactions I've had, how sometimes I might disagree with some officials' calls, and just trying to grow in regards to being a leader. And I'm so fortunate that I feel like our team listens to our coaches. We have 2 outstanding coordinators, both played at a high level. Todd Lights, our defensive coordinator, won a national championship at Notre Dame, won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Our offensive coordinators, a young man that played here when I was here prior, Austin Pettis, played in the NFL after Boise State. And our guys listen to our coaches. And I'm so grateful for that. Sometimes as adults, I think we forget if they're listening to you when you talk, you don't have to yell at them. right? Because we get emotional, excited. And for me, I think when my cup gets less than full, I don't lead the way that I want to, and that God would have me lead, or the way that's in the best interest of our kids. So it's important for me to make sure that my cup is full, to make sure on the family front, personally, that I'm in it for the right way, because Orange Lutheran football is not about Rod Sherman. Because if it's about Rod Sherman, if or when Rod Sherman leaves, and I'll leave someday, right? Whether it's my own desire or someone else's desire, I want to see the success of this school because I love this school. So this program can't be about Rod Sherman. And I've got to find ways for it to be about our school, our players, most importantly, about our mission here from a faith-based standpoint. So I've got to keep my cup full so that I can lead to the best of my abilities.
So for you, from a practical standpoint, exactly what does that mean? What do you do on the outside of football to make sure that you can lead while you're there?
So my wife and I have decided we're going to have a date night every week. I'm so fortunate that my wife is an unbelievable coach's wife, but actually I'm a coach's husband because she's our girls flag football coach. She never really used it, but she had the bragging rights last year. We were so blessed here in our boys program to finish 13th in the country on max preps. I think she finished second in the country. So I'm not even the best coach in my own living room, which is awesome. But we want to make that commitment. We think it's important that our 4 children see that we love each other. We love to spend time with each other, that it was last night. I mean, it wasn't in season. It's not always a 4 to 6 hour date, movie, dinner. It was happy hour and getting some takeout on the way home for us to have dinner with the kids. But that's important for me personally because my relationship with my wife is incredibly important to me. And I can't let football or my job get in the way of my relationship with her. The other thing for me is I'm trying to be more committed to stay in the Word. I get encouraged when I'm in the Word, and I'm trying to really dedicate that time in the morning because I'm always able to handle things in my day better when I'm closely connected spiritually and I see the bigger picture. I don't get as caught up in the details. I don't lose big picture sight. And I think as a head coach or coordinator, you can get caught up in little things that maybe aren't the most important things. And I'm really trying to focus hard to make sure that I can do a good thing with the big rocks, so to speak. And we've got a wonderful staff that does a great job with some of the little rocks. So I'm trying to lead more with stable confidence. I think early in my career and maybe not that long ago, I was erratic and kids didn't always know what they were going to get from Rod Sherman. And I don't think that helps our program. They need consistency in leadership and they need to know what I care about and what they're going to get from me on a daily basis. So I'm trying to grow in that way. So I promise I've made more mistakes than anybody, but I'm trying to grow and be consistent so that my team and our coaches know what to anticipate from me and my leadership.
Something I wrote down I thought was a good statement before we got going. Wrote it in my notes. You said feedback is your friend. And I can't remember. I think you said your wife reminds you of that.
She needs to because I don't always embrace it. But I do think it's true, right? Like when someone gives you feedback, it's because they see a way that you can become the person that God needs for you to be in this world. And like I said, I can give you probably 10 examples today alone where I didn't take that well. I'm trying to recognize that when someone gives you that feedback, man, we get plenty of feedback from the stands like every coach does, but how can we lean into a conversation and can I as a head coach ask my players, hey, what can I do better? Last week I asked them, hey, what else do you need to be better prepared for in a game? What do you feel like situations? We work a ton on situations here. What can we do situationally so that you feel comfortable? Quarterback, I'm also coaching quarterbacks here. Hey, what plays have I not prepared you very well and you don't have comfort with? Give me the feedback because we're either going to get you comfortable with them or we're going to take them out of the game plan. And I think I spent way too many years in my career being like, no, this is good. We're going to do this. Get on board with it versus asking others, like, how are things feeling and how are you doing?
In this profession, and I think we probably do it a lot, especially when we're younger. The most pressure on us is truthfully, and we may feel it from the outside, but I think we all put a ton of pressure on ourselves because of the expectations, because of the standards that we're trying to hold our program to, as well as ourselves when, those are not always met. I mean, we play a game where, this weekend, half of the teams that play are going to lose, right? That's just the nature of this. And, you said for you, there was a point where you realized, and it was freeing to be able to step back and say, it's not always going to work out. Everything's not always going to work out. And that's okay. That you can learn from it and you can move on.
Yeah, I had we're recruiting and we're so blessed to have really, really great kids that are really good football players, right? Any success we have is because we have amazing kids that are buying into what we want to do. and they're really, really good on the football field. So we were blessed to have a coordinator from a Big Ten school was here. And I was asking him about his job security. And he goes, Rod, I've realized every coach, it's not going to work out at some point for them at their current school because of what coaching is, right? The consistency of expectation and pressure. The fact that we've got some of the best coaches in the country that are in our league, and they're practicing really hard to win. They scheme like crazy. They do an unbelievable job, right? Like, you're not going to be successful every single year at the level you desire if you can wrap your head around the fact that at some point it's always not going to work out. It's actually freeing versus living with the stress of, oh man, I got to win 6 games this year or else. And for me, I don't always lead best or perform best when there's those ultimatums, right? Like, oh man, if we don't win 6 games this year. So if I felt like that in the Trinity League, I'm going to be a little more tense. My players are going to sense that at practice. I'm probably going to over game plan. I'm running special teams now. I'm probably going to try a punt fake that might not be good because I feel so much pressure to do it right. And all that pressure is going to do is make our team worse. And so we're really trying to work on the mental health side with our team this year. And for us as coaches, how do we lean into that? Right? We're ultra competitive. Last year, Max Preps ranked this as the hardest schedule in the country. This year, I think it's 4th or 5th. You can't be scared to lose. Are we going to learn some things? Are we going to have a growth mindset? Look, last year, we went to Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman is unbelievably coached. They're unbelievably athletic, beat us by 20-something. Man, we learned a lot about ourselves. And it helped us to come back and to win some big games later on in the season and to go to the Division I semifinal. So I think if we can have that mentality that we don't hold it super tight and that we hold it a little more open-handed and that we're able to have some perspective, I actually think it creates a way better culture for our players. Because I think as coaches, what do we always tell our players? Hey, are we learning? Are we growing? Are we moving forward? Growth mindset. But sometimes if we don't handle that well as coaches, what our players are taught is very different than what they catch.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, Coach. And the fact that we got to make sure we're learning as well. I agree with you 100%. The Trinity League, as we said, is really competitive. And one of the tools that you see around the Trinity League is when you've adopted this year, the sponsor of our National Coach of the Week, Modern Football Technology. Bishop Gorman, you mentioned them. They're actually a client of Modern Football Technology. So we see a lot of teams adopting this. Tell us about your use of that and what you see it doing for you, how it's been for you so far.
Yeah. We have such incredible coaches in our conference or the out-of-conference teams we're playing. Data has gone from an opportunity to a necessity in high school football. And the things we can do in game, the way we can track our tendencies, it just has to be the case anymore. We've got to do a better job offensively of layering where, what they do at the higher levels of college and NFL of we always have tendencies. So how can we identify them? And we met with our staff on Sunday and said, man, it's great that we came out of week 1 with some tendencies because what do we need to do now? We need to acknowledge them and see what we can do to uncreate those tendencies, right? And do other things out of that. So to not use technology to do that is just a miss. And I think at times in my career, I've been too busy to recognize that spending a little time on the front end saves you so much time on the back end. And we've been very happy with Modern, and it's going to help us a ton over the course of this year. I'm frustrated that I didn't jump on it earlier.
Well, you're on it now, and more big games, more big teams that you're playing this year. So a lot of opportunity to use it. Coach, again, we appreciate your time. Congratulations again to you and your team, and good luck the rest of the season to OLU as you guys compete in one of the toughest leagues in the country.
You bet. Keith, as a coach, your podcast is one I listen to, I subscribe to, your emails that come out. And when we talk about having a full cup, thank you from coaches like me, because you play a role in helping to fill the cup of coaches like me. So I just want to say thank you to what you do and your sponsors, because it's needed. And we all get a little lonely sometimes as high school football coaches. So thanks for what you provide for us.
I appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
Congratulations again to Coach Rod Sherman and the Orange Lutheran Lancers on their impressive victory and well-earned recognition as National Coach of the Week. The Coaching Coordinator Network National Coach of the Week is presented by Modern Football Technology. If you're ready to see how modern football can help your program identify tendencies, make smarter adjustments, and maximize performance on game day, visit modernfootball.com to learn more. We'll be back next week with another coach making an impact on the game and his players.